Welcome to the Army Empire Podcast, your go-to podcast for insightful tips on investment strategies, entrepreneurship, and all things money matters. Join Bernard Alerte, your guide on this journey to financial freedom. Each episode will dive into expert advice, practical strategies, and inspiring stories to help you take control of your financial future. Whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur or a seasoned investor, we've got something for everyone. So get ready to unlock your financial potential and make your money work for you. And now, let's welcome your host, Bernard Alerte.
And we're back.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. How are you doing, Bernard?
So excited to be here.
Yes. Yes, super excited. How's your day been? You ready?
Dude, ready. We're ready for this.
Fantastic.
Absolutely.
I see we have our Instagram folks already joining. Thank you so much for watching. For those that are watching on Instagram, for those that are joining us on YouTube and on Facebook. Now, if you're watching on Facebook and you haven't jumped onto the YouTube channel, jump onto the YouTube channel. It's The Army Empire and the podcast, and you're going to go ahead and click that subscribe button so that you can always be aware of every time we go live, and you're able to watch the replays without having to scroll and look for a specific episode. Every single episode is set up right there in the podcast. So if you're looking for something in particular, whether it's a topic of, name one of the topics, Bernard.
IULs, IRA, Roth IRAs or something like that. Absolutely.
You type it in the search bar and you'll be able to see that particular episode. Okay. So that's why I like YouTube quite a bit, because you're able to really find it really quickly. So don't forget to subscribe there if you haven't already. As always, we love saying welcome. We want you to comment. We want you to share this. We want you to like, because the more interactive we are here, the more it stays in the wall and in the profile for the folks to see that we're on, and we have so much important information when it comes to all things money matters. All right, so Mr. Financial Coach, what is it that we're doing today? What's the topic?
We have a little different format today. I want to take, because crazy, because as I was going through all the episode, we had like almost 33 episodes. This is the 34th episode. And we went over so much in-depth information on different topics, and there's so much more to go over that we're gonna have next couple of weeks. But the craziest part, I was reading this article the other day, and it was talking about the financial knowledge, like it was like a test, right? Financial knowledge test. FINRA, an education nonprofit, actually did a financial survey. They actually surveyed 25,000 people, like adults, United States, from different parts, all different states. Just ask some basic financial questions to find out what everybody stood. And I was so amazed of the results. So we wanted to make sure that, you know what, this is test time, right? So I was like, we're going to use the same test they had, right? This is test time. So we're going to actually interact today, go over some basic financial questions, right? And see how people react, or how you answer, Liz. Make sure.
Okay.
You would take a lot of notes, so make sure that, you know.
Listen, so we're turning this podcast episode kind of like into a game show.
Absolutely. Yes. I love the clap.
Yes. All right. So let's test your financial knowledge.
Exactly. Right. So let's go right into the first question. Right.
First question.
The first question, right? It's an inflation question, right? Ask. It says, imagine the interest rate on your savings account was 1% per year, and inflation was 2% per year, right? After 1 year, how much would you able to buy with the money in this account? To answer the question, multiple choice, right? More than today, exactly the same, less than today, or don't know.
Ooh, okay. We got to give some folks a little bit of time to read that question well and see exactly what it says. Look at it and look at the multiple choice. We're having more than today, exactly the same, less than today, or let's just fess up and say we don't know. Put your answer in the comments. All right, Bernard, are you going to lead the way?
Yes, absolutely. The answer is what?
Less than today.
Absolutely, less than today. And people don't realize, like, great job. Yeah, Les, you've been paying, definitely taking some notes. Absolutely, right? Why is it important to find that out? Here's the reason why. Okay, and check this out. only 58% of people got it right. 58% of people got it right. That means about almost 42%, more close to half didn't get it right. What does that actually mean in your finances? This is the reason why it's important, right? And people don't take into account inflation when they look at their money, right? For example, most people put their money in savings account, right? That right now there's a couple $1 trillion that right now United States are sitting in accounts earning less than 1% interest. So if inflation is 2%, 3% last year, was almost 7% last year, 7-8% last year. So actually you're buying less. See, you don't see your account value go down, right? Which people concerned, I don't want to lose any money, right? You don't see your account value go down, but your buying power is going down. What you can buy with the same money is going down.
So it's the buying power, and that's what we don't really see. That's
Exactly. It's so important to make sure that you have money growing. Yes, that we talk about, like we had episode talk about 3 kinds of accounts: emergency account, different accounts you need, but you can't put all your money in an emergency account. You can't put all your money in a bank earning less than 1%, 2%, 3% interest, because you're not keeping up with inflation and you're actually losing buying power of your money, right? Which is so important. So that's so important. So it's less than today. So make sure that you have your money. You're getting more than the bank. Make sure your money's where you're getting more interest than the bank gives you, or make sure you get make sure you're beating inflation. If you're not beating inflation, the interest you get on your money is not beating inflation, you're already losing. In other words.
Awesome. Great.
Let's look at the next question, right? It's the interest rate question, right? And that's how some people don't even know, right? Suppose you owe $1,000 on a loan, and the interest rate you are charged is 20% per year, compounded annually. If you didn't pay anything off at this interest rate, how many years would it take for the amount you owe to double?
How many years to double? And we less than 2 years, 2 to 4 years, 5 to 9 years, 10 or more years, or we can just confess and say we don't know. So which of these answers do you think it is for the audience that's watching? The answer is, do I share the answer?
Absolutely.
All right. We're talking about 2 to 4 years. You got to wait 2 to 4 years for that to double.
That money will double so fast. It will double so fast if you owe them. See, we talked about one episode, we talked about the rule of 72, how your money doubles, right? Your interest rate it works the same way your money is growing, but also works inversely for you when you have debt. So what does that actually mean, right? So, and check this out. Only 30% got it right.
Only 30% got
it right. So this is why the debt is so high in the US. A credit card debt is through the roof, because average credit card is not 8-10%, it's 20, 25, 20, 24%. So if you think about it, your money, that's why you're actually paying the minimum, and your money never goes down, and you end up owing more than double. Right? With the less than 2 to 4 years. So this is the people don't know about this. This is why there's so much debt out there.
Yeah.
They don't really know. That's why it's important to know the interest rate, how it works inversely, so people get in the game plan to get out of debt. Yeah. If you have any debt, you have to get on the game plan to get out of it as soon as possible, because it's working against you, and it's making the banks richer and richer, making you poorer and poorer.
So good and so true. My goodness. So the answer to that one is 2 to 4 years.
Yes.
All right, folks, let's keep this going. The next one. Oh, we have a true or false.
Very easy.
Right. So it's either true or false. Let's see those comments. This is the game show. We're talking about testing your financial knowledge. And this is a true or false question. And what is it, Bernard?
True or false, right? Buying a single company stock usually provides safer return than a stock mutual fund.
Company stock and a stock mutual fund.
Yes.
It's true or false. Let's see some folks and see if they can let us know what their answer is, or you may be afraid to answer. But the answer is false. Is that right?
False. Absolutely. Yes, right. Absolutely. Buying a single company stock does not provide, because See, what happens is when you buy one stock, if it goes up, you make some money. If it goes down, it crashes too. Why this is so important? Absolutely. What's a mutual fund? We talked about in past episodes before. What's a mutual fund? Mutual fund is a lot of companies, a lot of stock companies put together, right? So instead of one company, there's 100 companies, 150 companies some mutual funds have. So guess what? They work together to balance each other out. So you have a little bit more, it's not guaranteed that but you have a little more safeties, right? Because of that, right?
Yeah, people to be like strategic and kind of like you're not stuck to one thing, but
exactly,
like kind of like up against the wall. But this gives you a little bit of leverage and some movement.
Yes, and diversification. Yes.
Yeah, that's the word, diversification. So this one was this one I remembered because I knew for sure that you have been teaching us that quite a bit about making sure that it's, this is a stock mutual fund.
Yes, absolutely. Dollar cost averaging, diversification, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those are things that are important, right? Absolutely. So that's why it's important, because sometimes people ask me, "Oh, I'm thinking investing in Amazon. I'm thinking investing in Apple." They ask me like I heard this. I'm like, listen, is that there's two kinds of money. Is it play money or serious money?
Mm-hmm.
And is it play money or serious money? Can you afford to lose that money? Right? If the stock goes down, are you okay with that? Is it gonna hurt you financially?
Yeah.
Are you gonna be able to pay a mortgage or why? So those are questions you have to ask. So you want to have your serious money invested in mutual funds so you can have diversification and growth, right? And you want to have your play money. If you have a little extra, you've maxed out your IRA, maxed out your retirement, you max out things you need to max out, and you have a little play money. You want to make sure that see what happens. And if you want to invest in a stock, individual stock, by all means, if you want to do it, right? But you also got to attend it. If the market goes right, is going to be affected, right? Like Tesla stock, for example, has gone down a lot the past couple of months. See, if you have your retirement intact, then it's a problem. It's a challenge. So exactly put your eggs in one basket. So this is why mutual funds is the best. Will give you a safer return than you will get if you go in individual stock for most of the times.
So good. All right, let's move on to our next question. You are watching test.
40% got it right.
40%. Okay, so 40% got that one right. You are watching right now. Test your financial knowledge. We are on question number 4. The interest rate question asked.
Should be easy question though, believe it or not.
Okay, what do we got?
Suppose you have $100, right? And a savings earning 2% interest a year. After 5 years, how much would you have? More than 102? More than 102, exactly 102, or less than 102, or don't know.
We're going to say more than 102. Are we right?
Yeah, more than 102, right? Absolutely. Because if you're getting 2% a year, you should have $102. So if you have 5 years, you should have a little bit more than that, Exactly. So, but check this out. 70% got it right and 30% got it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Right, which is crazy, but that's what happens sometimes. So that tells you that you want to make sure your money grows, in other words, right?
Mm-hmm. And it's surprising the people that really do not know these things, and they're not even really paying attention, which is scary, because we should be paying attention to something like this.
Absolutely, you're right.
So can we do a quick little recap before we get to our last question?
Absolutely, yes.
Those who are just joining us. All right, so we're testing our financial knowledge today, and we found out that the very first question is less than today. And this has to do with imagining that the interest rate on our savings account was 1% per year and inflation was 2% per year. And after a year, how much would we be able to buy with that money in the account? And the answer was less than today. That was less.
Exactly, less than today.
It goes down. The next one was an interest rate question. And this one was 2 to 4 years that you have to wait until that money doubles.
Yes, you're confident because the interest rate, you get charged so much money in interest rate on a credit card or a debt. So it actually doubles. So if you don't pay it back right away, or if you pay the minimum, that doesn't even take into account minimum, the amount will actually double. In other words, if you have 5,000 you're gonna owe 10,000 in less than 4 years.
So true, so true. The other one was a true or false question. This
Mhm.
one was false. You want to go into the stock mutual fund. You
Yes.
have to. It's going to provide you a safer return. And then the one we just talked about, this one is more than $102
Yes.
in that
Absolutely.
savings. All right, so let's go to the last
The
question.
last question.
And
Absolutely.
is
It's a little more tricky, right? Not everyone knows that, right? If interest rates rise, right, what will typically happen to bond prices, right? Will it rise also, fall, stay the same, or there's no relationship?
interest rate rises, what will typically happen to bond prices?
Yes.
Okay, you're going to give us that answer because that one's a little bit more
It's a little
complicated.
tricky. Absolutely. It falls. It usually falls. Why is that? Because there's a indirect inverse relationship between interest rates and bond. What are bond prices? Bond price, right? There's different bonds. There's government bonds, treasury bonds, there's corporate bonds, municipal bonds, right? Bonds are actually loans. Here's what you're doing. If you're investing money in a bond, let's say if you're investing in a municipal bond, for example, right? What you're doing, whatever municipality, you're giving them your money, invest your money, and in turn, they're going to guarantee you to give you a certain amount of money back. They're going to pay you back interest and different things like that, right? So pretty much bonds are considered somewhat secure, most of them. Why? Because you're dealing with corporate, the city, the government. So they pretty much give you a good return. But what happens is when interest rates go up, guess what happens? Let's say municipality, the government finds it harder to pay the money back. So because of that,
That's why
exactly.
it
How
falls.
does that affect? A lot of people make a huge mistake. Sometimes when you have to look at, they have money, they automatically assume or bonds are safer. So a lot of times, like for example, they may have money in investments, mutual fund, things like that. Oh, I want to put in bonds, it's safer. But you have to look at what's happening to interest rate. If the interest rates are going up, then bonds are not the best place to have money secure. In other words, right?
Mhm.
So you have to pay attention. This is why it's important to speak to an advisor, speak to someone, not make because people make that decision. Oh, let me switch it to bonds. In other words, right? So are there benefits on bonds? Absolutely, but you have to look at you don't automatically. It doesn't matter automatically assume that you're gonna get that safe return all the time. Make
Yeah, and
sense?
I think that's the key word that you're saying here is that we think it's safe because it's a bond. Oh, it's a bond, it's good, it's safe.
Exactly. And it's not. It depends on interest rate. There's a lot of factors that affect that. So we have to pay attention. And guess what? It's a harder question. Only 27% got it right. You know,
Oh, look at that.
it's not an easy question. So to
Yeah.
answer, you have to really understand how the economy works, right? Usually to understand that. So I mean, and what's the point of this little quiz to give out? It's just to realize that a lot of us don't even know how much education that we don't have out there, and it's crazy. And at the survey, it only check this out. Only 34% in some states, right? They actually look at a lot of different states, right? And most people, only 39% in some states got it right.
Mm.
All five of them right. So most people didn't get all five answers right. So that pretty much means that a lot of people are hungry for financial education. They
Yeah.
want to learn. You have to learn how money works. You have to educate yourself financially. And 85% of the people out there, they really want the financial education. They think financial education should be taught in school, right? And that should be a basic how money works to be taught in school. But let me tell you the problem. A lot of financial companies don't really have an incentive for that
Mm.
to be taught in school.
Right.
That's easy to teach in school. It's very easy to teach basic financial knowledge in school. But then they should have a curriculum on that, how to work your money. Because there's two things. Think about what we do, right? We work a lot of 24 hours in a day, right? We spend 8 hours sleeping for most
Mhm.
of us, right? We spend
Mhm.
another 8 hours working.
Yeah.
10 hours. Most people, you're gonna spend 8 to 10 hours working to make money,
Mhm.
right? And another 8 hours, do whatever you have to do. I just chased my wife around the house for like, I'm just kidding, not 8 hours, right? But think about that, right? So that's what happens. So think about 8 hours, a third of our life we're going to be spending making money.
Yeah.
But we don't know what to do with that money, or we
Yeah.
have the wrong information. This is why financial literacy it's not like it's not like a word, like it's real. We should have that. That should be taught in school. That should be taught basic math, right? Because a lot of people couldn't even answer some questions. So how is it they're gonna be able to make this? Is why we're in such a bad situation where people debt is through the roof, people not saving enough money, not investing enough money. This is what's happening. So we got to go back at financial education, and we have to, and also this is a call to action. Knowing is not enough. You have to implement that.
Yes. You got to apply what you're learning.
Apply what you're learning. We went over a lot of information. You have to apply what you're learning, right? Because you can learn all you want. If you're not applying what you're learning, that you're not getting it. You're not getting ahead. You have to apply what you learn. Apply. How do I take certain steps to get in the right direction? Things don't have to change overnight, but are you taking the steps? Are you taking the steps? You know what? I need to take the first steps. I need to start with something. I need to do something. And by just taking that first step makes a huge difference. But it's crazy what's out there. Realize that money, you have to, when it comes to money, you have to know what you have to learn. You have to get an education, but also you have to look at who to trust. Who do I trust that's going to give me the right advice that's going to help me and and share with me what necessary so I can actually get ahead. And I always recommend deal with someone that has not only life insurance but an investment license. Also deal with that also, because that's the only way.
That email is scrolling below. Make the decision to email Coach today. Like email him this week and say, I've been watching your podcast. I've seen so many episodes. I've been hesitating for XYZ, but I am finally sending you an email. I need to have a conversation with you.
Absolutely.
I mean, it really is that simple. That's making the first decision.
Absolutely. It's so important to do that. And we have to learn how money works. We have to get ahead. It's so important right now, because otherwise, we'll be like a lot of people out there, 65 and still working, or flat broke, God forbid, still in debt, trying to figure it out. And that's not what's supposed to happen. We're supposed to be able to work for a period of time and get ahead and be in the right position. That's what's supposed to happen. Exactly. We spend all third of our life working. We should have some come out of it. We should not be struggling the way struggling financially. For most people, there's a really serious issue out there. But for a lot of people, Liz, it's just a basic lack of understanding how money works. For probably 70-80% of people, it's not because they don't make enough money. It's basic financial education. If they apply a lot of concepts that we've been sharing, they would definitely be ahead, at least go in the right direction.
Yes. And just to follow up on what you were saying, sadly, nowadays, there are so many people that jump on social media now with the internet. I mean, obviously people jump on, and you have to be very careful. I've seen and heard people offer classes and this and that, and it has to do with either buying property or doing things with your finances. And I'm looking at the person, I'm like, this person has never bought a home, you could tell they don't have their finances put together, and they want to teach, and they're offering, these classes and charging hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars to people. Don't fall into that trap.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
Make sure that whoever you're saying, oh, I'm going to find out from this workshop or this thing, that they literally have a license to give you financial advice. Like, absolutely. I see this and I literally want to just like, are you kidding me? And people, because they have a big following or because this, and really it's a trap. Do not fall into that trap. Call yourself a financial advisor. Get a hold of Bernard and really sit down with somebody who knows their stuff. Not any, like my mom used to say, any Tom, Dick, and Harry that you see, or any, fulana de tal y fulano de tal, que dicen, they say this or that, but they don't have the substance to say, I can follow this person. But we've heard 34 episodes of pure sheer knowledge.
On different topics. Like a lot of these guys, if you ask them do like episode, they will cover one topic, one thing, that's it. They would have no material, one thing they would talk about, that's it, because that's the only thing they know. And if it sounds too good to be true, if it sounds too good, it's Probably is. It's crazy because I was looking for some on social media, and I was looking up, and I, I'm getting those ads of people. Oh my gosh, or I mean, I feel like don't do it. And a lot of people I'm looking. Oh my gosh, send me information. Sounds great. Like, oh my gosh, I'm looking at,
Yeah,
and I'm seeing like
don't do it. Don't.
hundreds of people.
Yeah.
And the sad part is I don't want to, because as soon as you say something, it increases their exposure, right? So I'm not gonna give them that. So I just don't answer. But mom, I'm like, oh my gosh, these people are about to get ripped off. These people are about to do something terrible.
And it is so sad because you and I, being that we're faith-filled, we know that the enemy comes in through that vehicle. If he can't use anything else in your marriage, in your family, to bring discord, to bring find problems and stuff, he comes in through your finances.
Absolutely. 100%.
He uses that as a weapon.
Absolutely. So it's just so important to and it's crazy because one thing I'm looking at, the person asked, can you send me more information? And they said, oh, information is not free. And it's crazy. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we've done like 33, 34 episodes on information that's no one will ever cover. And people think I'm crazy with cover, but people need to know. I don't mind sharing that because people need to know that information out there. People, if it stops someone from buying a bad product, if they see an episode, they don't have to even call me. If it stops from someone like, oh my gosh, I was taking again IUL, now I'm not getting it, I'm happy. Yeah. I'm perfect. I'm okay with that, right? I was thinking to roll my money over. I was thinking of, oh my gosh, get more credit card debt, apply for. I was thinking all, and if it just stops for someone from doing that, I'm happy. I did my job.
There's 3 words that I use a lot, and it's receive, retain, and apply. Yes. And this is for everything in life. You have to receive, retain it, and then apply it. And this is where the free part comes in with you. You're receiving this information from you free. We're retaining it free. Applying it is visiting you and having a conversation. That's where that's the nitty-gritty. That means you mean business. That means you're not playing around. You're deciding to make a decision in your financial situation, whatever that may look like, and say, I'm going to better this for myself. And we already know that it's generational for my children and my children's children.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's crazy. Proverbs 13:22 says, a good man leaves the house for his children's children, right? So not only it doesn't just apply to money, properties, it applies to knowledge. If you instill the right concept, because think about it, our kids learn how they see us handle the finances. That's what they learn from. So if we teach them how to be good stewards of money, show them how to make the right choices, how to different content we talk about, guess what's going to happen, right? Is going to pass to your kids and our grandkids, and we break that cycle. It takes one person to break that cycle of poverty. One person to do it, right? Every like, you see like generation do, because one person made a decision to step outside the box and do something different. And you have to be that person, right?
Yeah, I think we need to get to a place where we all say we're done with the GoFundMe accounts because something passed away in our family.
Absolutely. It's just terrible. I see it happen time and time again, and it's sad. It's really sad, but
yeah, we shouldn't be in that place. We need to walk in knowledge and in wisdom, and that's what we're getting here. This was so good. We can stay here for another 30 minutes talking about this.
Yes,
but if you missed it, if you're just jumping on, because I see some numbers going up. If you're just jumping on, I want to tell you that we had such an amazing game show happening here. Yes. And we answered these questions, and they were so good. So catch the replay. Watch it throughout the week and get a little bit of knowledge and see just how good you are retaining what our coach is showing us here. This has been excellent.
Very excited. We have a lot of things lined up next couple of weeks. We're working on that, so it's going to be very exciting. And we're going to have more tests. Maybe in a couple of episodes, we're going to have a lot more tests, a little bit more in-depth tests. Now, a lot of things that we talked about over the past couple episodes. So it's going to be good.
I love it. Thank you so much for assisting us in this amazing Tuesday evening. As always, we walk away just so full of knowledge, and preparing those conversations that we get to have with the people in our family and with our spouses as we continue to learn and grow and receive that financial literacy. Thank you all so much for watching. Those of you watching on Instagram, here on YouTube and Facebook, you all are the very best. We'll see you again.
Appreciate you. Absolutely.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. We will see you again next week. We got thanks, Coach. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we'll see you again next week. Thank you, Bernard.
See you next week. Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Army Empire podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and share it with your friends. Join us next week for another exciting edition. And until then, keep building your empire.